Hey guys, welcome to Money Mindset and More. And hopefully you are having a good closure for 2025. For me, it is professionally, it is very well. Personally, I lost one of the biggest asset of my life, so it is a mixed year for me. But I hope that it is good for you. Today, I'm going to cover something which is a absolutely wrong advice, which is from in social media. And one recommendation I will give that don't follow anybody's advice on social media without doing your own research, including mine. You should always do your own research before doing anything specific to your life and especially in finance or something like that. Today I'm going to cover one of the myths that rich people don't pay taxes. I have seen that very frequently, and people have shown charts and images that how rich don't pay any taxes. Most of those information are absolutely wrong. Nothing truth in those things, and I'm going to break it down today. Recently, I've seen one of the images where a person has shown three scenarios. The first scenario is that normal people who does a job and pay taxes and then take the earnings. So, for example, a normal employee, let's say he's earning $1 million, he will pay 40% taxes and he will take home only $600,000. That was the image. That is fundamentally wrong. That is not how the taxes work, especially in US, most probably in every countries. Taxes always work in different kind of slabs. So, for example, in US, you might pay a certain percentage, let's say 10% up to 100,000. Then next 100,000 you will pay another 15%. And once you cross, let's say $500,000, you will pay 40%. Now that 40% will be something which will be more than half a million benchmark. It's not on the entire half a million amount. That is wrong understanding. People are flooding in social media. You should never follow. You should always try to see how you can get a higher paying job, because that is where you can start building wealth if you are not going to be an entrepreneur. The second is people say that you have a 1 million worth of common company stocks in place of salary, and you sell those stocks to get income for yourself, and you pay 25% capital gain, and that which you can use for your income. And the logic is that 25% of capital gain is less than 40% of income tax. Again, fundamentally this is wrong. First of all, to buy or to get a $1 million worth of company stock itself is a big task. How you are going to have $1 million worth of company stock if you don't have money? I think if you're getting from your parents, that's a different scenario altogether. But most of the people have to earn some way. You cannot simply go and say somebody give me company stock, don't give me salary. If you do that, how you're going to feed your family, yourself, how do you live? So all those things are not considered when somebody says that you should have 1 million of company stock so that you can sell those for capital gain and then use that as income. That is not the right approach. That understanding is not correct. You should never follow this particular advice that you should replace your salaries by company stock. That's not good advice. And the last one is that, well, where there are creators who claim that this is how rich will don't pay any taxes, and what they say that, let's say you have $1 million worth of company stock, you don't sell it, you go to a bank, you put as a collateral and you borrow money, and then you use that money to spend as an income. Absolutely wrong advice. Absolutely wrong. You should never borrow to spend. If you want to spend money, you should own your money to spend. If you're spending borrowed money, you are going to be bankrupt very soon. Absolutely wrong advice. None of the richest do that. It's absolutely wrong. I am sharing from my experience. I don't have too much money, but I'm sharing from my experience. You need to have real money to spend. If you are borrowing money as an income and then spending, please remember any borrowed money has to be returned to the bank. Otherwise, your collateral will be taken away. So let's say if some rich person has given 1 million worth of stock to a bank as a collateral, and then they borrowed the money and spend it. Now they don't have money to return to the bank. Then bank is going to use their collateral to get away on the debt which they have. Second, you have to pay interest on your debt. Now that interest has to be paid. If you don't have a earning, you only have stocks, how you're going to pay those interests? Ultimately, you have to sell stocks to pay those interests. So this phenomena which is flowing around on social media, that this is how rich are not paying taxes, is absolutely wrong. Most of the rich people probably using banks to borrow money and buying assets. That is the fundamental difference. They never spend. I don't think so. Elon Musk borrows money and go and spend. He probably borrows money and goes and buys Twitter, or he might build SpaceX. He builds something else. They might spending that money or investing that money on something which might be a risk-taking failure, but they are definitely not spending that money as an income. That understanding is wrong. So please stay away from those advices. And anybody who is claiming that you should figure out how to pay less taxes and you should have more stocks and things like that, they don't understand finance. Very honestly, they don't understand finance. Ultimately, to buy any asset, any stock, any real estate, anything, you need real money, and that either has to come from your income, your real income, or it has to come from your parents or anybody who can give you the money. So if you don't have anything, then you have to earn. And becoming a good employee of a company is the first step to start earning. Probably when you have enough cash, you might start a business. Or if you are a totally entrepreneur, that's a totally different discussions. But most of the people, 99% of the people, you have to have an income source to build assets and then ultimately figure out how to pay less taxes. There is no concept called zero taxes. It's very rare. You have to pay somewhere some taxes. I have seen people claiming that somebody has paid only $700 as a tax or things like that, because they are doing all those things through their companies, and companies actually pay taxes on different way. For example, Amazon pay payroll taxes, they pay Medicare taxes, they pay other taxes. So if the owner of Amazon is not paying taxes on their income, because ultimately the company has paid so many taxes in a different way. So there are always so many ways to figure out what exactly a person is paying as an owner, rather than claiming based upon news and social media that they just don't pay taxes. That's not true. Please, if you want to get rich, try to work harder on things which you want to learn new things, read new books, invest whatever you have, save more money than spend, never borrow to spend money, borrow to probably invest in real estate or education, something like that. Those are the things I would say. And please keep away from the fake influencer on the social media, and including me. Don't take anybody's advice until you do your own research. I'd love to see you very soon. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you very much.